Alright, back again for episode 2. We got the remainder of our 8 qualifying fights to get in the house. We opened up with Dan Simler versus Matthew Riddle. I think it was Riddle. No, start with an R. This was kind of bad striking display because Dan Simler admitted he wasn't very good and Matthew Riddick didn't seem that much better, but Riddick took him down. Simler seemed more worried about getting hit than using his considerable BJJ skills, because this guy is a mean grappler. But as we kind of see, sometimes a mean grappler does not make a mean MMA fighter, and he got knocked out badly. So Matthew showed some power in his hands. Could use some work though. Definitely could use some work. But he does appear to have good wrestling. Ground game looks at least decent. He moves on. Dan, I think, suffered a pretty big concussion. Okay, after that, what was next? Dan, I really should have written these fights down. I'm going to go in the, not really in order, because I'm not sure. Luke Zachrich versus Patrick Schultz. Now, the question I have is, when they made these matches, what the heck were they thinking? Like, they put some of the guys with the best records. Now, of course, this could be a lot of filler on a record. It could be really, a guy like Mike Dolce, who's 4-4. He's lost to 4 guys who probably fight in the UFC, probably should, versus, some guys, with a lot of filler. But Luke Zachrich is a very good fighter, actually. He got the takedown. Patrick managed to reverse him, but he got reversed right back. Patrick did not look comfortable on the ground in any way, and we wound up with a renegade choke for Zachrich. So he moves on. That was nice. The third fight we saw, I honestly don't remember. It'll probably hit me though. But we had Aaron Miser versus Brandon Seen. Miser looked good until he got dumped on his back and I think hurt his leg, and he had a clunky knee brace on. Oh boy, that knee did not look good. Let's put it that way. He ended up getting a decision. Was he? No. He was finished via rear naked choke. Brandon Seen looked good, although from what we're hearing, Miser dominated the stand-up, so it is possible he may not have good stand-up, but he showed some things on the ground, showed some good submissions, showed good positioning. You can't really tell off the highlights all the time, but still. Daniel Kramer dominated Jeremiah Riggs. A lot of heart, a lot of toughness, not a lot of skill. Didn't seem to know what he was doing, which is unfortunate, because it's one of those things. You look at the guy and you think, hey, this guy could be really good. But the third fight hit me. It was Timothy Credeur versus, I think, with Eric Charles. I think the guy with glasses. Timothy Credeur, black belt, trains with Eve Edwards, or used to. Eve Edwards is at ATT now, so I don't know if Credeur followed him or stayed there. Credeur showed what I knew he had. I don't know if anyone else knew, but he took him down, submitted him pretty easily. There we go. Gerald Harris took out Mike Morello. Mike Morello looked like Josh Berkman a lot for some reason. But Gerald Harris won a unanimous decision. From what we saw, it looked like he controlled the stand-up, although Morello had some moments, but he maintained top position on the ground a lot and showed his spirit wrestling, which Gerald Harris is a fantastic wrestler. He pushes the pace a lot. I know this guy from the IFL. He's decent striking. He was not submitted by Fabio Leopoldo, who's a very good submission artist, so the submission defense shouldn't be that much of an issue. He's a good grappler. He's not a particular finisher. That's the one thing that might bug people about him. So let's see. We have Brandon Seen advanced, Gerald Harris advanced, Tim Credeur, Luke Zachrich, Matthew Riddick, Ridley, and Daniel Kramer. Okay, so we have 2 fights left. The last fight we had, let's try to do it in order. There was Jesse Schultz versus Nick Rosenberg or something like that. They kept saying he looked like Eminem or acted like Eminem. I didn't see it, but whatever. He had considerable height, but I mean, he got taken down easy by just Schultz, and just Schultz just kind of pounded away at him and finished him. And there's not much else to say about that. Jesse Schultz, Jesse Taylor. But Jesse Taylor looked like a bit of one-trick pony, like Rampage said. He took him down, held him down, pounded at him. We'll see what happens when he goes up against a guy who has some takedown defense, because that definitely appears to be where the deficiency in Nick's game was. The last fight was Matt Brown and Josh Hall. Josh Hall reminded me a little bit of more Greco-based Sean Shirk, and a bigger Sean Shirk, and a less skilled Sean Shirk. I mean, when this fight was standing, it was decently even. Hall had a hard time taking down. Apparently, this guy knows Mac Danzig, and you think Mac Danzig would have some high praise for him, and it looked like it. I mean, the guy looked like he was a really good wrestler. Rampage had talked about his wrestling and his power. He had a hard time taking Brown down, and when he was down, he got completely out-grappled by Brown. I mean, Brown looked really good. He had a triangle on like 2 occasions. Omoplata, looked like he had a knee bar for a little bit. Also had an arm bar. Eventually pounded him out. Good heart from Smith. Good for not tapping in what were some pretty deep chokes and submission holds. And the triangle was really deep, and the arm bar was kind of deep. But that's about it. Nonetheless, I mean, Brown looked very impressive. A little small. It looked like he didn't cut a lot of weight, but he advances in the house, and it's good. So now I suppose it's time for predictions. Well, there's some guys that looked impressive in the original fights, but I hadn't seen before, and I'm not sure what to make of them. I had some early on favorites. Steve Burns got taken out, and that was disappointing. Dan Simler I had with a question mark beside his name, because we wanted to see how he took a punch, because he was probably the best grappler in the house, but there's other things to being a man than a grappler. So those two were out. But Amir Sadallah looked really good. Really good kickboxer, undefeated amateur record, looked good on the ground. He's a guy to look out for. You also got, I thought Matt Brown looked really good, but his 9-6 record, I'm going to have to look up and see, you know, what the heck this success had beat him, because he looked good in every aspect of the game. It looked like he took a punch reasonably well. He struck really reasonably well. He used kicks and punches. He had great grappling. We didn't see him try to get a takedown, but we saw him defend a takedown very well. He's also kind of up on my list. Other people are some other guys I had early on as favorites. C.B. Dalloway looked really, really good. Gerald Harris, not really a finisher, but I mean, he's very solid. Mike Dolce has the kind of power that he can probably knock anyone out. A little lacking in other skills. He is a Team Quest boy, though. I mean, he's an okay wrestler. Got good power. He's an okay striker, but he's up there on one of those can knock anyone out scales that could allow him to win. And there's also Timothy Credeur, who we saw today, and I'm very high on him. But if I had to pick one person, I have to go with C.B. Dalloway. I think he appears to be from what I know, is one of the better wrestlers in the house. He is a finisher. He can strike. He can defend against submissions pretty damn well. Now, Paul Bradley might give him some troubles, because Paul Bradley appears to be a good wrestler and a good smother guy. That's the type of guy that could possibly beat C.B. Dalloway. That being said, Dalloway has the other skills, and I really hope Paul Bradley doesn't pull the Tommy Spear in a way, where he just gets by on being strong, wrestler boy, you know, and hold people down, beat them down, etc. Hopefully we don't see that. Not that I have a problem with wrestlers, but I mean, you got that with the game, because what happens when you run into a stronger wrestler? See Diego Sanchez in many ways, although at least Diego finishes fights. But yes, I would have to go with C.B. Dalloway. Would be my first pick to win. And I gave you a list of some of the other guys I'm looking for to do well. And that's about it. Well, the team picks next week. We also saw a lot of mayhem, although that's not going to all be on the show. I think that's just a preview of mayhem. I hope. Because, God, if that happens in one episode, we're in for a house-leveling season. Anyways, later. I'll be back on. I'm gonna do a UFC A3 preview probably tomorrow. Just get some time on my hands, and I'll be back for the next episode of The Ultimate Fighter. Later.